Hello there everyone, Kirsten here. So for today I thought I would be talking about something a little bit serious that has been on my mind lately, and that is of course the recent YouTube changes, like their algorithm, advertisements, and little things like that. Before I get started, first of all, I'm using natural lighting for the first time in a long while, which is really nice. It's also pretty gloomy outside today. If you guys cannot tell already, you probably can't, but secondly, I hope you guys had a lovely spring break, and I hope you guys have a lovely Easter, because I know that by the time I upload this video, spring break will pretty much be over for those of you who are in high school, college, elementary school, middle school, whatever. Just thought I would kind of point that out today. Anyway, without further ado, I'm just gonna go ahead and dive right on into this topic that I just feel kind of down about recently. I just played back that video and it sounds like a little bit of like scratching or something. I don't know what that's from. I'll have to fix it later, but if you guys hear that, I do apologize for that. Anyway, back to what I was originally going to say. So for many of you guys who already know, and some of you guys who basically don't know already, if you watch channels like Philip DeFranco, Keemstar from Drama Alert, Scarce, those type of news source related YouTube channels, or just anybody in the YouTube community that has a feel to, say so about like these recent YouTube changes, including myself, you guys pretty much know that the Wall Street Journal recently had made a video, or rather an article, about PewDiePie being an anti-Semitic, which is not 100% true. That is definitely for sure. I don't feel like going into that whole controversy on itself. You guys pretty much get the idea. But basically there was a lot of support for PewDiePie versus the Wall Street Journal themselves. But unfortunately, they made another article about like a certain type of racial terrorist related videos that decided to, be monetized or advertised on certain YouTube videos. Well, because of that article, I'm just not gonna get into that part, but basically, long story short, a lot of companies end up boycotting YouTube and just Google altogether, which of course resulted in Google losing like billions or like millions of dollars or something like that because of advertisers that decided to boycott YouTube all in itself, and because of the fact that there has been a few racial or like controversial related videos that has been monetized just because of one or a few bad apples in the basket. It suddenly makes everybody completely bad, which is not true. Just because you have a few rotten apples in the basket doesn't necessarily mean that the whole tire patch of apples are not good. Do you know where I'm going with this? That was pretty much a shittier way of like trying to use that analogy, but still, you pretty much get the idea already. Come to think of it, that tapping noise could be from raining in the background or something, but I don't know. I'll test it out later to see what the problem is, but anyway. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Obviously, this becomes a really huge problem just based off of lies alone. It becomes like a really big deal all of a sudden, which it shouldn't be in the first place. Obviously, I love YouTube and I love the YouTube community. I've said this many times in my videos before, and the fact that I've been a part of the YouTube community for a very long time, since 2008, I've seen a lot of good with YouTube, but at the same time there's also dramatic changes that were made to YouTube that becomes more bad than it does good, to be honest. Things like channel layouts, which has gotten pretty bad over the years, and the whole, copyright issue with the YouTube community, which of course I can understand some of them, but some of them I think are a little bit ridiculous. And then you got all of a sudden like major changes with like, monetization, and with the fact that, you know, controversial or like educational related stuff is not being allowed on YouTube anymore. It seems as though every time I hear like dramatic changes with YouTube's, like their algorithm and their monetization and their, you know, new copyright policies and things like that, I can understand the fact they want to make their better community and things like that, but sometimes I feel like it's just gone way, way too far in most cases, because it's almost like you're not allowed to have a voice on YouTube anymore. Freedom of speech technically is not freedom of speech anymore, apparently. Anytime you make a video about politics, it's like, oh, nope, sorry, we can't monetize that video. It's too controversial. Oh, you can't make a video about this person, that's too controversial too, so you might as well just forget it. It doesn't make any sense that YouTube itself would just target, you know, adult related content when it's actually kid-friendly entertainment that's more of a big deal than adult related content, which does not make any sense whatsoever. It's more of a bigger deal with quote-unquote family-friendly stuff rather than like adult related videos. I'm not just talking about like porn and things like that, but I mean like entertainment as far as like communities go. No matter what it is, I always believe that there needs to be some sort of middle ground with everything. Like, of course, there needs to be some sort of middle ground with YouTube. Family-friendly entertainment and adult-related content can be allowed on YouTube, but has to have like a certain requirement in order to do so. Does that make any sense? I don't know if I'm making sense of that, but basically what I'm trying to say is you can allow a lot of content being brought in the YouTube community, and at the same time making sure that content for children cannot be viewed for adult-related content. You get where I'm going with this. It's pretty stupid to have so many restrictions when there is more problems to be dealt with than what the whole community is going through right now. A lot of changes, as well as like the algorithm on YouTube itself, it's almost like it's complete bullshit in some cases. You obviously got somebody like the Amazing Atheist. YouTube ended up forcing him to change his, you know, YouTube title name into TJ Kirk, which is his original name, but the fact that he put an atheist, it's almost like it's too controversial to just keep a title like that as your YouTube title in itself, which does not make any sense whatsoever. You know, just little things like that kind of bother me, and a lot of other major changes that's kind of like a big deal. And then you got somebody like Leafy is Here, which used to have millions of views and almost about like, I think 5 million subscribers at one point. Now look where he's at. His views have dropped dramatically, as well as his subscriber count. His channel is basically dying at this point. Now, I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of shit for speaking on behalf of, you know, a few of these controversial related videos or YouTubers, but I'm not simply defending these two people. But what I'm trying to point out here is people have the right to post whatever is necessary on YouTube if people enjoy that type of content. And of course, you have the right to speak about certain topics that you feel very passionate about. It can be any sort of topic, really. Whether you want to talk about religion, whether you want to talk about politics, whether or not you want to talk about like the gaming community, whether you want to make filmmaking related stuff, or write about music, or sing about music, whether or not you want to talk about veganism, just little things like that. People have the right to speak on behalf of anything, whatever type of subject. It's almost like it's simply not okay to have freedom of speech anymore, because it just sucks. Not only does it affect really large YouTubers, but it also affects really smaller YouTubers as well, including myself and people that have relatively a little bit more subscribers than I currently have. Somebody that has like around around hundreds of subscribers, millions of subscribers, whatever the case scenario. Now obviously larger YouTubers in the YouTube community, they pretty much already made their living as it is already. So they probably have enough money to have a pretty good retirement and things like that. But then you also got relatively smaller YouTubers that have like around, let's say, just tens of thousands of subscribers or thousands of subscribers, you know, little things like that. It really does affect them really largely because some of these YouTubers rely on that sort of income because they feel very passionate about doing those type of jobs. And to have that type of choice being taken away from relatively smaller YouTubers all because large companies decided to boycott YouTube all in itself. It's almost rather cowardly to be boycotting over the littlest shit that happened on YouTube. It just doesn't make any sense. Like I said, just because you have a few bad apples in the basket does not make the whole entire batch bad. Again, I used that same analogy. You pretty much get my point. So whether or not you end up making YouTube videos as a hobby like I do, or rather larger YouTubers that rely on their videos for income and things like that, it's simply not okay to take away anybody's privileges or rights to post certain types of content. Now obviously people that don't make any videos or relatively smaller YouTubers like myself think it's okay that advertisers are being pulled away from YouTube and thinking like it's not such a big deal. Newsflash, it kind of is. You know, just like I said, some YouTubers rely on that sort of income, and if you really do want to support the YouTube community, speak up about it. Don't just let it slide. Support your favorite YouTubers that you like and look up to. Somebody that's a relatively smaller channel. It's important to speak up about certain things and to support relatively smaller YouTubers and things like that. It's important to get this type of thing noticed. So if you really do care about the YouTube community, speak up about it. Don't just let it slide. Because if you don't say nothing, it's gonna just become worse and worse. With the fact that I love YouTube, I just hate the fact that there has been so many dramatic changes. And unfortunately, this type of stuff is not going to be better either. Bad on top of bad, on top of bad, on top of worse, on top of shitty. Then bam, all gone. Nothing left to say or do. That is apparently what a lot of people want. And guess what? It's finally coming true. I pretty much have said whatever it is I needed to say at this point. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on what I had to share altogether. So if you did, be sure to sucker punch that like button down below. And of course, if you haven't already, please do dedicate the time and effort to subscribe to my lovely channel, to become a part of my army of darkness. And of course, you will be updated with a brand new video every single Friday, as well as Sundays now. So that is pretty much it. If you guys are interested in following me outside of YouTube, all of my social medias will also be listed in the description box down below. And before I completely end this video, I'm debating on whether or not I should just take a break from making Sinful Sundays episodes until I graduate, or rather doing these type of videos every other Sunday or something. I'm debating, but it's just, I have a lot on my plate and a lot to think about. But the fact that I'll be posting videos every single Friday, that is obviously not going to change. It's still going to be every single Friday. But I just thought I would let you know ahead of time about like my Sinful Sundays episodes. That is pretty much it. And again, thank you guys so much for watching and sticking to the end of this video. You guys are so awesome for doing that. So have a completely chill week, an awesome day or night, and I will talk to you all soon in the next video. So until then, stay completely dark and so fucking brutal and awesome, my friends. I'm gonna go ahead and see what I can do about like my microphone that's been making weird noises, but in the meantime, I will talk to you next time in the next video. So take care. Bye for now. So for today's video alone, I'm going to be doing a first impressions slash review of a product I recently ordered online, and I will definitely show you in a minute. Before I get started, I just wanted to let you know that I am not being sponsored whatsoever. I mostly ordered this on my own purposes, as well as trying to do something a little bit new to one of my videos. Just personal pleasure references and things like that. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and dive right on into this product I just recently ordered. So the moment you have all been waiting for, today I'm gonna be reviewing something I ordered off of Amazon, and that is of course the Bedrock and Bloom Smart Ash. If you guys can see, it's still in the packaging still, or like this.